a man living in a church found a cardboard model of his city. He noticed the church where he lived and even a small figure representing himself. Curious, he decided to spray water on the church model. To his amazement, it started to rain outside. Disbelieving, he tried again, and the rain intensified. That's when the man realized the city model was magic. A year earlier, the small town of Littleton was shocked by front-page news. The new mayor, Trina Grant, had died in a car accident. An emergency news release reported her death, and the locals were heartbroken. Trina was beloved for leading the vote to stop the freeway expansion, which made the town more comfortable and attractive to tourists. She had defeated John Conley, who supported the freeway that would have cut Littleton off from the main road, potentially devastating local life. With Trina gone, it seemed likely that Conley would now achieve his goal of building the new road. Trina's husband, Jason, received heartfelt condolences from family, friends, and the entire community. A year later, the town looked bleak. Streets were littered with trash, shops had closed signs, and residents were leaving due to unemployment. Ironically, all of this unfolded under a "Welcome to Littleton" sign. Acting as if nothing was wrong, the new mayor, John Conley, walked around town with his wife, smiling and greeting the few passerby. Before proceeding further in the video, we would like to show you an overview of our channel. Many of you watch our channel and like it but do not subscribe. We need your support so that we can bring more such type of videos for you. That's why please subscribe to the channel. One of the remaining residents, a young man named Emilio, headed to the local church. He went up to the attic where Trina's widowed husband, Jason, lived. Jason had been reclusive since his wife's death, but Emilio visited him occasionally. This time, he brought candles, cakes, and his new funny caricature drawings. Jason found himself and Mayor Conley depicted in the drawings. He laughed, praised Emilio's talent, and encouraged him to keep drawing. Emilio asks Jason why he is living in the depressing attic of the church. Jason explains that after his wife's death, he couldn't stay in their old house. The pastor allows him to live in the attic as long as he helps out around the church. As Emilio leaves, he asks Jason if he feels closer to God. Jason reflects on this, remembering how Pastor Nikki supported him after his wife died, helping him move forward. Grateful, he offered to help her clean up the cluttered attic. While cleaning, Jason discovers a strange board that is an exact replica of their city. The model is incredibly detailed, showing even the smallest things, like holes and cracks in the ground. As he examines it, he finds a mechanism underneath and tries to make it work. The gears start turning, lights come on in the windows, and the miniature town comes to life. Jason is thrilled, but then something shocks him. Looking into the model's church attic, he sees a tiny figure of himself, exactly where he is now. To see better, he sprays water on the model's window. As soon as he does, it starts drizzling outside. Realizing what's happening, he sprays more water, and the rain outside intensifies. He reaches out, still struggling to believe his eyes. Later, Jason is sitting in a local restaurant, listening carefully to customers talking about the strange rain that seemed to fall in just one spot. The restaurant owner, friendly as always, serves Jason coffee and complains about the lack of customers due to the road construction. Despite this, she treats Jason kindly and instructs her son, Emilio, to paint the restaurant's facade. Sarcastically, Emilio replies that painting the restaurant must certainly solve all their problems. Jason takes out his notebook and writes down the task. That night, in the attic, he uses nail polish to paint the facade of the restaurant on the town replica, hoping to help Emilio. The next morning, Jason walks by the restaurant as if nothing happened. A surprised crowd has gathered, and Emilio assures his mother he didn't do it. His mother is shocked, worried that the mayor won't like the new orange walls. Jason suggests it looks good and adds some brightness to the town, noting it's actually peach, not orange. Emilio's mother agrees and relaxes a bit. On his way out of the church, Jason sees a poster for Conley's election campaign. He takes it off the church fence and throws it away. Just then, he hears an elderly woman cry out. She has twisted her ankle in a big hole in the ground. Jason helps her and listens to the older residents complain about the hole and other problems. They point to a suggestion box for the mayor, saying it's been ages since he looked at it. Understanding what he needs to do, Jason takes the suggestion box to his attic. Using the town replica, he begins solving the town's problems, mending holes, clearing rubbish, cleaning roads, and even giving an angry, hungry dog a bone from his plate, which appears enormous in the real world. The next morning, Jason enjoys walking around the town, seeing residents' positive reactions to the changes. At the restaurant, he sees the mayor scolding Emilio and his mother for the unapproved color. Jason interrupts, reminding the mayor of his deceased wife, putting him in an awkward position. Jason then visits a shop and overhears customers talking about the town's improvements. They discuss how they might not need to leave now that things are getting better. Jason joins the conversation about the positive changes, saying it seems like the town has a guardian angel. The man from the shop thinks Mayor Conley is that angel, believing it's all thanks to him and that they should vote for him in the next election. Jason disagrees, pointing out that it's not a re-election but an election because his wife, the previous mayor, died in the middle of her term, so Conley wasn't chosen but took over. A nearby woman says it doesn't matter how Conley became mayor if he's doing his job well. The man agrees and offers Jason a drink to toast the mayor's health, but Jason politely refuses and leaves. That night, Jason works on the replica again, thinking about how to make the city more attractive to tourists. He constructs a huge glowing sign that says, "Littleton, America's smallest magical city." Soon, the city is filled with tourists, there's a line at the gas station, and the restaurant parking lot is packed. The spirits of the townspeople clearly improved, even to the point where the Sunday Mass was overcrowded. Pastor Nikki warmly greeted everyone she hadn't seen in a long time and pointed out that they had gathered to celebrate the series of wonders that revitalized their town. She mentioned that she didn't know who the mysterious helper was, but she believed he needed to be thanked. Some parishioners shouted that it must be the new mayor. Conley's wife asked him if it was really him, but he just shrugged. The pastor continued, saying that whoever the helper was, he had taken responsibility for his friends, neighbors, and the entire town by painting buildings, fixing roads, clearing rubbish, and attracting tourists. Many expressed their gratitude to Conley, but Jason wasn't happy with the situation. That night, Jason decided to expose the imposter. He threw a small stone onto the model's replica of Conley's sports car. In reality, a huge meteorite fell from the sky, landing precisely on Conley's car and flattening it. Conley's scream echoed through the town center early the next morning. A shocked crowd gathered, wondering about the odds of a meteorite landing exactly on his car. Conley didn't believe it was an accident and suspected someone in the town was targeting him. He noticed Emilio, who was laughing hard, and took away his notebook. Inside, he saw a drawing of his car with a stone on the roof. The mayor started screaming and blamed Emilio for everything, but Emilio's mother defended him, demanding evidence. The crowd supported them and began to leave, but Conley gave a passionate speech about his good intentions, regaining some favor with the people. Observing how Conley was walking around alone, Jason decided to teach him a lesson. He placed a huge spider onto the model. Emilio woke up to the sound of heavy steps and saw an enormous monster from his window. Conley, unaware of the danger, also heard the loud footsteps. He looked up and realized that a gigantic creature was moving towards him from around the corner. He falls and screams in horror, but the spider suddenly flies up into the sky and disappears, leaving Conley lying in shock and confusion in the middle of the empty street. Meanwhile, Jason, satisfied, puts the spider back in a jar. The next morning, Conley walks with Pastor Nikki and complains that someone is constantly testing his faith and playing tricks on him. Conley spots Emilio painting a huge spider on a wall, grabs him, and asks if he saw the spider last night. Emilio smirks, annoying the mayor even more. In the evening, Pastor Nikki visits Jason, but he stops her at the door to keep the replica a secret. She expresses concern about Jason, noting that things are improving in the city and that he has reasons to be more positive. Jason asks her not to give Conley any credit, calling him selfish and greedy. The pastor replies that anyone can return to the right path. That night, Jason tries to improve the city's lighting by adding more light bulbs and signs, but the weak power system can't handle it, and the city plunges into darkness. The townspeople gather for an emergency meeting in the church by candlelight, demanding the restoration of electricity. The mayor explains that the city's power plant failed because of the new lighting. It will be repaired, but it might take weeks. An elderly woman says she relies on an oxygen machine powered by electricity. The crowd argues and demands that the mayor fix the issue immediately. After all, it was he who put up all those new signs. But the mayor insists he has no idea who did it. People don't believe Conley and intend to confront him, but he runs into the yard. He sees Emilio in the street again, drawing, and snatches a notebook from him. Inside, he finds a painted sign of the town. Conley tries to explain to the crowd that Emilio is behind everything, claiming it's some kind of witchcraft. The people refuse to believe the mayor and start to attack him. But then Jason steps in and confesses everything. He explains that he only wanted to help the town and its residents, but things didn't go as planned. People demand proof, so Jason demonstrates some wonders from his attic. He then removes his gold wedding ring and places it next to a photograph of his deceased wife, admitting that he feels he failed her. At that moment, the mayor breaks in with his supporters and discovers Jason's secret. Conley is thrilled with the potential of the replica and decides he wants to turn the town into the next Vegas. Jason vows to stop him, leading to a small fight during which the replica topples over and falls. In the real city, chaos ensues, and the residents wonder how to restore everything. Looking at his huge wedding ring in the middle of the street, Jason reassures the townspeople that they already have the means to rebuild. Journalists on the scene report on the largest single piece of gold ever found. Thank you all for watching.